Okie dokie. Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 1281, and this is my 1175 double shot. What am I discussing for this one? I am discussing the first two trades to collect the sudden amount run for Miss Marvel. It's Saladin Adman, I think it's pronounced the guy's name. Yes, these are the first two trades to collect his very brief run he had with Miss Marvel, because they actually just ended it last month at issue 18. Yep, new writer, and of course we also give her a new costume. Yep, yeah, I previously discussed this costume in the Miss Marvel team-up trade, which of course that's when she also showed up there too. When this costume, because the first half of that series, she's wearing this costume, and the second half she's wearing a new costume. What they explain in here is actually sort of a symbiote, which I'm like, did the writer of the series rip off Secret Wars? I'm not talking about the one that came out 5-6 years ago. I'm talking about the one that came out back in the 80s. I thought Spider-Man got his symbiote costume, because that apparently was this costume. It's this goo that makes it this slightly... Here's a better look at the costume. Mm-hmm. So, apparently, her parents have still they basically try to they figure out, oh yeah, they keep a secret, you're lying to us. And she goes, oh yeah, I'm Miss Marvel. And they tried to stop her from going out, basically do what she does. Yeah, here's the thing about it, and Kamala Khan's noted this in the actual book itself, especially toward the end of the previous writer's run, where apparently her parents completely forgot the fact that she was Miss Marvel. Why the heck would G. Willow Wilson write that character that way? I have no idea. So she runs out to basically fight crime, and also she takes his time to, she briefly goes to another dimension, because apparently she's a destined one. Yeah, Kamala Khan is basically destined to be a prophet or whatever. I'm like, really? Kamala Khan's chosen one? Okay, fine. And then when she gets back there, she fights two villains. Yeah, one named Discord, who's no classmate of hers, and another one named Becky, who calls herself Lockdown. I'm like, wait, DC already has a character named Lockdown. And he's a lot more interesting character than Becky is. Becky is an arrogant jerk. I mean, she's a lot more arrogant than DC's Lockdown. At least DC's Lockdown was an actual freaking prison guard. Becky was somebody who was a fascist who was appointed by Carol Danvers to run a detention facility to arrest people for possible crimes they may have committed. Which a lot of people point out, though. Yeah, readers point this out, though. Ulysses' predictions and basically the whole, and the book dealt with racial profiling, where, oh, you're a particular type of ethnicity, you are in fact a criminal. Which, that's what G. Willis was implying in our Civil War II tie-in. Which Lockdown doesn't deal with that at all, though she briefly fights him, and of course there was also this employer, which of course Camilla was upset the fact the cops couldn't arrest this guy for some reason, despite the fact there actually was evidence to arrest him. They just ignored it, because they had no evidence, despite the fact there actually really was. Now, there's multiple different artists in these issues, yes. Now, for these first 6 issues, you have Michael Jung, who does the issues. Now, that's the first 6 issues. 7 through 12 is done by Joy Verniquez. Well, it does issues 7 through 8. With 8 basically co-draws with Alex Armaggi. For 9 through 12 is done by Michael Jung. Also in here, she fights Mr. Hyde, which I thought was so cool with the fact she fights a classic Marvel villain like Mr. Hyde. Though, for some reason, he's back to his old classic design for some reason. Yes. Because look, here is Mr. Hyde. If you look at that look, basically, he's drawn here, that's his old look from his pages of Thor, believe it or not. Yep. But for the start of this run, it's actually pretty good. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's damn good. Yep. Now, I am planning on getting his run for Miles Morales. That I'm just going to come in live really soon. Now, I'm also planning on reviewing soon his very first series of Marvel Comics, Black Bolt, which that was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. And that was one of a few books that came out after Inhumans vs. X-Men that focus on Black Bolt. The guy himself is a really good writer. Because it seems like it's a guy, which is kind of interesting. Though I thought it was kind of dumb the fact that Marvel. Now here's the thing: what came next, Miss Marvel? Right after issue 12, Outlawed. I am not kidding about that. That seriously came next. Outlawed. By far, for a lot of people, it's by far the most hated storyline of 2020 because all it is it's just a cheap cash-in ripoff of Civil War 1 and DC's Robin War. And it's still going. Despite the fact that nobody cares about this particular event, though I think in the case of the way it's written in the pages of Miss Marvel and Spider-Man, that, yeah, they hate the law. Yeah, all because it's called Camilla's Law. Yes. And it was passed because of an incident that was indirectly caused by the champions. Yeah, it was an accident. And yet, we had to pass a law because we can't allow, teenage superheroes. Despite the fact they've been a thing for years. And apparently now we have a problem with it. I'm surprised that, get this. Now here's the thing, you also have a Power Pack series. Yes, Power Pack is involved with this. Not just Miss Marvel and Miles Morales, but Power Pack is involved with Outlawed. I'm like, really? Why the heck would Marvel even involve Power Pack in the first place? Though one of the siblings is actually 21, despite the fact they claim that, nope, you're really not, which I think is quite stupid. Also, as sort of adult superhero shows up in there, where, okay, the way they basically treat Outlawed is that you have to have mentors. Basically makes the teenagers sidekicks. And despite the fact, yes, the sidekick thing has sort of been dying up for decades. But bringing it back this way, in my opinion, is a really dumb idea on Marvel's part. Though I hope, once this storyline wraps up, because the storyline in the Miss Marvel book actually wrapped up with the penultimate issue of this run. It wrapped up in issue 17. 18 is actually the finale for this run, and it's also the 75th issue of the series, believe it or not. Though I'm hoping the series comes back, because, well, you're probably asking, well, who could take over from the writer? You know, I could think of who's not doing much of anything right now is, well, there's a few. Meredith Finch might be a good choice. She's probably the most popular choice to take over Miss Marvel. There's also Matthew Rosenberg. He's not doing anything. Though I don't know how. I don't know if he has any history writing a teenage superhero. I mean, writing a solo superhero, that he has expertise at basically doing that. Due to writing books like Rocket Raccoon or Kingpin. But someone like Miss Marvel, I don't know. It's possible he could do it. It's nothing that says he can't do it. He has written with women before in comics. I mean, the woman he wrote in the Kingpin miniseries was really interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed her. Despite the fact what Ed Bronson did with her in his run for Old Man Logan. I will discuss that later on in the future. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular review. Next review is going to be a review of the newest episode of One Piece. And then another comic book. Yeah, the two more I'm going to do today. But not going to come right now because I really want to get to One Piece. But that'll be up soon, okay? To the next video. Bye.